So the recommendations for grief is to help others find direction after a loss and to normalize the situation through guided solutions. Help others find directions after the loss. Okay, so I just read the vision, the mission, and Pastoral Institute's methods. So can I share a little bit about, okay, I can. So I discussed this with Thomas last night. He wanted me to share a little bit of my reason for doing what I do, and a little bit of my life story. I'll try to make it short. Now, actually, I had started writing it out, so if I mess up, then look over me. So I've worked in mental health. I worked for a community mental health center as a consumer advocate. So I worked with patients and I advocated for patients, and I did a lot more than I realized I was capable of doing. I met with the staff, and I just, I enjoyed what I did. So what happened is that I retired from a major corporation and I went to work for a mental health center part-time. What happened is that probably now at this point, about 50 years ago, I was diagnosed with a physical ailment, which is lupus, okay? So with lupus comes, of course, a lot of physical ailments. It can affect a person emotionally. So I was eventually diagnosed with clinical depression, okay? So, and while I was in mental health, I learned so much about depression, anxiety, and all the emotional illnesses. So to me, it was actually a blessing for me to have worked in mental health, because I learned a lot. Even though I was going through that physical ailment, I didn't quite understand everything about the emotional part, but I was determined to be healed, because my doctor had told me that they wouldn't know what the outcome of the lupus would be for 5 years. And I didn't know. I mean, I would lay in bed at night sometimes, or anytime it hurt for the sheets, the covers to touch me. Which, if you think about that, like maybe diabetes, high blood pressure, and when it hurts for the covers to touch you, I mean, that's going to lead to anxiety and depression. And my mom was a great support at that time. I was determined that I was going to survive. I had seen people on drugs and alcohol and taking medications just for recreational reasons, but I had to take medications to be healed and to feel good and to reduce the pain. So I did my research. That's why I enjoy doing research. I've seen friends and family members die from overdoses of drugs, which that also led to a lot of physical ailments. Again, seeing all of that gave me the determination to move on, and I said, Lord, I know I can be healed. I read in the Bible about how God healed people. I learned about faith. So after going through all of that, I have learned that controlling our emotions and managing our emotions can help us physically. So it took me some time, but I claim healing. I used to go around and say, well, I'm in pain and I don't feel good and this and that is bothering me. I have to recognize that I'm not gonna say I was diagnosed with a physical disability. And I do recognize that, but I don't go around talking about it. Because the more I put that into my mind, the more it affects me. So I have learned that if I think sick, then I'll be sick. So now my focus is on wholeness, being well, and it works. At one time, I'll tell you all, at one time, I was taking 15 pills at one time, 15. And my mom told me, she said, Linda, you don't need all that medication. You just, and I really didn't. Because I will not say don't take medications. Because I believe for mental illnesses or emotional illnesses, people need to take something, especially if you're having some issues, if you're going through certain issues. But I will say, for me, I didn't need all that medication. Because one thing counteracted the other, and one thing led to something else. So as of today, I mean, it comes with eating right. It comes with, health comes with eating right, thinking right, exercising, being mindful of certain things. So I can truly say today, I believe I'm healed. And every once in a while I may have pain here and there, but when I get down and out, I go to scripture. I